I'm from Danville, Ohio, and I have been carnivore for almost 16 months now. So I had lost some weight and was feeling good. So I'd been kind of like vegetarian. That was really hard, and you waste a ton of food, and the shopping and the planning is awful. And I never felt good. So then I did intermittent fasting, and that went really good. I lost a lot of weight, I felt really good. But I didn't change what I was eating. And I started to get hungry, and it was really hard to fast when you're still addicted to carbs. So a year ago in March, I was gaining weight, and I got up to 244 pounds, and I just, like, my fat pants were just about too small, and I was just like, I have had enough. I'm not gonna go buy bigger pants. I'm not gonna do that. It has to stop. I have to find something. And I thought, I want to intermittent fast, but I can't do it. So I thought I had heard the words fasting mimicking diet. And so I looked that up, and Ken Berry comes up, and all of those people, and I'm like off the diving board right in, and I didn't eat anything but meat from that moment. And it's been fantastic. I have lost 60 pounds, and it's slower. It's been 16 months. I feel like I should have lost more than that, but that's not how it works. We're all completely different. I have a thyroid condition, so I might be doing really well for somebody with a thyroid condition. I might be doing fantastic. So stop comparing, and like she said, stop looking for that miracle. Just make the little decisions day by day, and I feel so good. And look, when I sit down, I can cross my legs now. And I was going up the stairs to bed last night, and I'm like, I think I can kind of jog up these stairs. And I did, and I'm like, I just jogged up the stairs. It's a miracle. Like, these are the little wins that mean so much more than the scales. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And I have a YouTube channel, Last Day of Normal. I don't make as many videos as I ought to, but it's just fun. I do a lot of I'm kind of a prepper, and so I have kind of focused on how to prep meat and carnivore foods and more keto in your preps. So that's my story.
What's your name?
My name is Jeff Wolf.
Hi, Jeff.
I know you. Jeff was on my channel on a live stream.
If you want the full version, go back and watch the video we made together.
That's right.
But the reason I started keto is because of inflammation, and I was hungry all the time. So I am definitely an addict, and that was the biggest reason, because I've always been fairly good in the weight department. But that's basically it.
When did you start?
March of last year.
And has it improved your health, and what kind of...
Oh, the brain fog is the biggest one, and decision making so much easier.
And I recall on our video, on our live stream, you didn't have much weight to lose.
No, I didn't.
It was all about the health benefits.
Yes, it's all about the health benefits. I've lost weight several times. The first time was I just started jogging. I weighed 190 when I started that, and got down to 160. I've run a marathon, hurt my foot, stopped running. Then I calorie restricted for a while, and that's when things really were bad, because you're just thinking about food all the time.
Well, that's why you were always hungry.
So I got up to 180 and then started keto March of last year, and I'm not hungry all the time anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And
If somebody came up to you and said, well, I don't have any weight to lose, that's why I don't want to do keto, what would be your number one thing you would say would be the reason they should do it?
you will feel so much better if you do it. All the
That's
little
right.
aches and pains go away.
That's right. All
I
right.
did nothing.
Thank you, Jeff.
I think everybody knows who I am now.
Miss
So I
Woman's
really don't have
World
anything to
Spadar.
say. So I started keto in 2021, but I had a long history of issues, weight issues till then. I'd actually had a Roux-en-Y gastric bypass in 2000. I lost, couple 100 pounds, had weight reduction surgery for all my hanging excess skin, etc. I gained right back up to 270 pounds from, I had been 400 pounds at one time. And they said the surgery failed me. No, I didn't learn how to eat. I didn't know I was the carb addict. I didn't know anything about that. And then, I don't know, 10 years later, it was, oh, let's do band over bypass was the new surgery then. They tried that. I ended up in the hospital almost dying. They had to reverse it. My stomach ruptured
So
twice.
you had a gastric bypass and the sleeve.
Yes.
Wow.
They reversed that.
The sleeve.
Yeah, because they couldn't reverse the other. And again, I didn't learn how to eat. I didn't know I was a food addict. They just said eat littler quantities, you know, eat your fruit, eat your vegetables. You know how it all goes, all the stories we heard. And so in 2021, after a very traumatic, I lost my husband to cancer. He'd had dementia 15 years. I didn't know. I ended up back in the hospital ICU with chronic kidney failure, rhabdomyolysis, UTI. I mean, I was septic, all of it. And when I came home, I didn't know if I really wanted to live. What did I have to live for? And it took me until about, I'd gone through the holidays by myself. January, I looked around my house, and anybody who's seen pictures in my house know I have all kinds of pictures in my house. I have 3 children, I have 9 grandchildren, I have 14 great-grandchildren. I have a reason to live. That was my reason. And Dr. Berry came into my life on YouTube, and I think I've watched every one of his videos. So May of 2021, I started keto. I also was introduced to the church that we now belong to. And I started seeing a mental health counselor. And I learned I had an addiction, that it wasn't, I had worked for Weight Watchers. I had done that in my past. And it's ironic, when I worked for Weight Watchers when I lived in Nashville, and people have been confronting me on this, I'm going to get out my W-2s to show I worked for Weight Watchers. I had to brag about an 85-pound loss I had had, but I could not tell these prospective clients for Weight Watchers that at that time, when I was talking to them over the telephone, that I had gained back 100 pounds. I was only to brag up the 85-pound loss.
Of course.
You know, what are we all learning from that? Nothing at all. I found keto. Here I am today, another 105 pounds down. But you know, it's not the weight. I am off over 20 prescription drugs. All of the diagnoses that went with those medications are marked resolved or in remission in my health records. That is something. Driving down here today, I was going through back pictures for my house pictures, yard pictures, but I found, like, having had the sleep study done, being all wired up and everything, and doctor immediately wanting to put me on CPAP. And at that time, I'd lost 35 pounds doing this, and I knew already keto was the way to go. And I was doing dirty keto, as it's called now. I didn't know what it was called, it was keto. But I told him, give me a while, let me see. And I don't know, it was 6 months later or so, we did another sleep study. And he called me, and I thought for sure I was dying. It was 6 o'clock on a Saturday night. I get a call from the sleep study, my phone saying sleep study. And I'm going, what the heck? I must be dying. They don't call? And he called to tell me I had no signs of any sleep issues from that second test. And so I just have learned now I need to go on, and I have to encourage everybody. Start now. Don't wait. I don't care if you're 2 years old. That little one is now eating a lot of keto foods. I've watched some of her pictures that Danny and Beth post. And this is what we all need to do. We are the spokespersons for the ketogenic lifestyle. And I don't care if it's dirty keto, ketovore, carnivore, whatever. We are the community that needs to be doing this. So never stop.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
Well, I can tell you this was me probably 4 years ago, and most of my life this was me, double my size. I can tell you that as a child I was big, going through life I was always overweight, unhealthy, until I went into the service. I graduated school at 16, went into service at 16, and then I became perfect health. Got an honorable discharge. I fell in love with my deceased spouse, and we were married for 42 years. I can tell you, when she passed, when good Lord took her, I kind of lost a lot of weight. I quit eating. It was very unhealthy, and in the process of doing so, I met Stacy. We met each other, and one day she goes, "What do you think of keto?" I says, "I don't think anything of keto. I don't know what it is." So she goes, "Well, I got this doctor for you to listen to. His name was Ken Berry." And she was marathon watching this doctor.
I get it.
So I sat and I watched a few, and when we were done, and I was done, and I looked at her, I says, "You know, of everything I was taught about food pyramids and trying to eat right, work out or whatever, this guy's full of you know what. It just can't be real, you know." And I've even told the doc to his face that's what I thought of him at first. But you know, the more and more I watched and I started participating, and it is a whole lot easier when you got support in the home.
Yep.
It took off. I started eating healthy. I wanted to gain weight because I went down too far, a very unhealthy way, and eat healthy. And it happened. Keto is a great way. I do ketovore because I still like some veggies that don't like me. And I can tell you that without you guys in group, I'd be in trouble. It's just YouTube. Thank God for YouTube and folks like y'all. Because with God, like I said, and of course my wife, it's working. And stick to it, because you'll have your moments at times. I have mine, and I just don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. I can tell you this: at half my age, I was a whole lot worse condition health-wise than I am today. And Stacy said, "When do you start it? Start it now. You're never too old or too young to start keto and a good healthy way of eating, so you don't end up being double your weight, health issues in the future, and take care of yourself."
Yep.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken.